Okay, let's get into our second week of post-yearbook graphic report assignment. And so what I would like you guys to do first and foremost is before anything else, go to online comments and assistance. I've been trying to do this with all of my students, but in this case, for some of you, this will be the first time. For many of you, I've written more than once. But when you go here, it's going to take you to, oops, wrong one. Each of you, I've written something to you about your choices, and I'd like you to look at it and just have, if you have any questions or anything, this is the place where you can actually go and write questions and comments to me or about anything. And I will respond, because all I have to do is look up here. And if you did something, then I'll see right here that you did something, and I can go into it and know that you've done it. The other thing I want you to do then is go to Google Classroom, once again, because this is where online comments assistance is. And the next assignment is this one here. Let me just go into edit. There we go. And it's got instructions on it. And so the YouTube video is the one I'm making now right here. And then you're going to open up a Google Doc, and this Google Doc is called Gathering and Processing Data. So here is an example of what that Google Doc looks like. So please, everybody gets their own. Please make sure that you put your name so I know it's you. Your topic, oops, don't hit enter like I did. Your topic, and my topic is wildlife, spell it right, wildlife turning to urban areas due to the lockdown. Okay, and for this week, I don't want you to, I'm not asking for a whole lot. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to find five web pages that have information that would be useful for your graphic report, that double page spread that we're going to do. And what I mean to say is I want you to get five good sort of beefy web pages, no blogs, not Twitter, not Facebook. I'm talking about things that like news articles or something that directly relates to what it is that you're talking about. And if you have questions about that, you can send me links, and you can say, is this a relevant link, or is this something that I could use? And I'll let you know either way. So let me just give you an example of what I'm talking about. So when you go to Google, remember, if you've been in my class before, you know it's about keywords. So what are my keywords? Well, wildlife, returning, and you can see right here, the first thing that comes up is wildlife returning to urban areas. So I can go ahead and click on that. And look what I have here. Emboldened wild animals venture into lockdown cities. Wildlife takes advantage. So there's a whole bunch of stuff here you can see. Now, I found ones that were just, for example, one particular place, like one small town in England. And that really isn't what we're talking about here. I'd like you to find something more like this. This is The Guardian, which is an English newspaper, which is perfectly fine. And so it talks about not just local things, but all over the world. I mean, for me, this is what I'm talking about. So it's not just about what's happening to us here, but since this is a worldwide event, I'd like you to come up with some things that are happening all over the world. So, for example, like this one. Now, again, read these, or at least skim them so that you can see that it's not just a single thing. Like, for example, this talks about the Bay Area. It's talking about Barcelona. It's talking about different places all over the world. So this one would, for me, would be a very good page to use. So again, all you're going to do is you're going to click, copy, go to your paper, and paste. Okay, that's all I want you to do, and I want you to find 5 different things from 5 different websites. Okay, so I just spent the last 10 minutes looking at some pages. I mean, I really kind of looked, I had a good long look. So of the 5 pages here, I looked at approximately 9 pages, and 4 of them just didn't have any information. I mean, they had like the same pictures and the same information as other pages. So if you're finding that, just don't go and get a page just because. Really look for something, each one that has enough meat on it so that you can get information from them, different information, not the same information, hopefully. As you can see here, I've got The Guardian, which is an English newspaper, Pew Charitable Trusts, RFI, which is Radio France International, New York Times, and the Japan Times. So I've got a pretty wide ranging number of sources. Now, that brings us to the next thing. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to pick one of your sources. And so I'm just going to randomly pick the New York Times one here. And I want you to go to one of your sources, and I want you to actually read it and find out information that you could find as useful. Now, this business, right, don't just, again, I'm saying, again, don't go for just whatever. Because, for example, I could go to this first sentence here, and it's like, okay, there's information, but this isn't really specific information, and it's not really good data. Okay, what I would like you to do is actually go down into it and read it a bit, and I'm going to do that and just pause, and I'll come back and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so what's interesting is I only found 3 really good things in the New York Times article. So I'm just going to put them down. Now notice the New York Times article is number 4 here. It's another thing I'd like you to do is just sort of name your source. So this is source number 4. So let me just put it right here. And I just want you to see the information I got. Okay, so this one here talks about how animals are looking for new food sources. This one talks about the fact that some animals, like monkeys in Thailand and rats in New York, have become actually more aggressive because the food sources that they normally have, like tourists and restaurants, aren't there anymore. And then this article here is talking about the fact that the coyotes are moving into San Francisco because there aren't so many cars. So it's not just the fact that the animals are moving into the city that I'm going to write about. I'm going to write about why, and what are the causes of it, and so forth. So that's kind of what I'm asking you to do. But just try to find 5 different things. If you can't find it all in one article, like I wasn't able to find it all in one article, just go to another one and find 5 altogether. All you got to do is highlight, copy, and paste. I'm not asking you to write anything today. All I'm asking you to do is find 5 good websites and then 5 different data facts. Now notice I didn't, these are not, well, in some cases they're entire paragraphs, but no more than like 3 sentences, okay? 2 to 3 sentences. 1 sentence is fine. This one is a single sentence up here. This one's what? 2 sentences. This one's 1 sentence, okay? But just enough so that don't copy and paste single words, but copy and paste enough so that it actually makes sense and you can do something with it. Okay, it's all I want you to do. 5 websites, 5 quotes, preferably from one, but if you can't find all 5 in one, then 2 different websites, and just stop right there, because afterwards what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at your websites and I'm going to look at your quotes, and I'm going to see, if there's any issues that I have with them. I'll get back to you on it. Okay. And so should be kind of fun. This is not something that's meant to take a long time. Just something to get you thinking, and hopefully take the time to get something that's interesting and something that you enjoy reading about. All right. Have fun.